Jim the New Engine. The engines of the Brightway Railway woke up one day in the middle of summer when it was the hottest summer that anyone had ever remembered. Grant was starting to struggle with all his work. It wasn't because he wasn't trying, it's because he was the only one pulling the passenger trains. As Manson was out of service, Mike was handling the freight trains, and that Will wasn't strong enough now that he'd passed the prime of young age. Unknown to them, a new engine was coming. This engine had just entered the yard. He stopped. Everyone was impressed. This engine was painted in GN and S railway brown. Now, they were very rare in that type of region, especially on this region, as it was a Midland region, but there were mostly southern locos and one eastern loco. This engine was fairly new, as it was only 1974, and that the film the which this engine had been based was 1970. The 1970s Railway Children, which was based on the novel by E. Nesbit. Grant, who was one of the kindest engines, though a little tired, smiled and asked how he was and what his name was. "Oh, I'm fine. I'm Jim. And I'm here to help with passenger work, I think. 2 coaches, always on the main line." "Ah, yes," said Grant. "I'm glad that you came to help us, because I'm struggling with all the work." So Grant left to go prepare himself. Grant was thrilled that Jim was coming to live, there to help him with all the passenger work, as people were questioning if Manson was going to live there anymore. But if he was, then everything was very good. John left to do the shunting. Today only 1 coach was needed, as there were very few passengers wanting to get on the train. Grant was still a little low of steam, being so tired. But today John didn't come back, as he was on a special duty where he was to tell people of what he did on the railway. Jim came back, but this time he didn't stop, but he did say hello to everyone, as he was that sort of kind engine. He crossed the point onto the main line and started to go backwards towards the station. Grant gave a thrill whistle and set off. Everyone watched him go, but then the news came. The worst news that people had heard for a very long time. Manson was being sent for overhaul and crew. Everyone thought that was brilliant, but nobody knew what the bad news was. But it turned out that Manson was no longer going to be living in this yard, as he needed a thorough overhaul. Manson told everyone not to cry when he left, but everyone had tears in their eyes as the Blue Pacific began getting ready to leave. There was a full ref that stayed at the yards, and his name was Mark. Mark was the oldest engine there. He wasn't he was one of the wisest engines that ever lived. Everyone was very sad, but Mark tried to cheer everyone up with jokes and small talk. This worked for a while, until they saw something. What they saw didn't scare them or surprise them, but what they saw was John. Turned out John's special duty wasn't as what they thought was talking to people. His duty was to take Manston to Crewe, and John would return. Oh yes, but Manston would not be coming. The fleet watched him depart. Everyone felt very sad that they were to lose such a fine locomotive. But as they disappeared, John gave a long honk on his horn, and everyone thought maybe Manston was going for a better life, because he was hardly ever used there. And they did have Jim. Jim would make a fine companion on the fleet.